Okay, so we'll be talking about how the stuff we buy actually impact the world. And so we can first look at deflation. And deflation is where the prices of goods and services slowly decline, right? And so we came across two stories regarding this and current events going on around the world and how companies are being affected. And so we looked at a story about from CNBC regarding Macy's. And so Macy's has not been doing very well in the past, how many years?
Maybe a decade plus,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
At least the last decade.
And so during this time, since many of their businesses have been closed, they're actually selling $5 billion in bonds, right?
Okay, they are raising money through bond sale, right? Okay.
And
Because they are not doing as well because of the current situation in the economy, and they were already seeing a long-term decline in their business because of the likes of Amazon and the Walmarts and Targets taking business away from them, right? Okay.
and so they said that if this $5 billion in bond, like if they're not able to pay it back, then they would pay it back with real estate and
their inventory, basically.
and their inventory.
Okay. So basically, your buying decision, the fact that you're not purchasing stuff from a store like Macy's is actually having an impact on Macy's, which is having an impact on what?
Which is also having an impact on their employees because many of them are getting laid off. And along with that, there's another impact. So if you look back at the chain, since everything is connected, we look at another story by Bloomberg, and it says like people in Bangladesh are actually suffering because they're not able to get work. Because here in
a developed country like US, at least you have some kind of a structure to support you, right?
Yeah.
Not as solid as rock solid as maybe some of those European countries, but at least there is something which can sort of sustain you. Okay.
Yeah. And they're saying like since here we don't need as many goods and since everything has almost stopped, that in Bangladesh they don't need to produce as many clothes, and because of that many of the workers are getting laid off.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like at least here, so the situation over there is a lot sadder than the situation here, right? And unfortunately, the fact that on one hand you are deciding not to buy stuff, which is from the environment perspective, from the perspective of the fact that we are creating a lot of trash in the world, is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's not as simple as that, right? So you just cannot make this one decision and say that everything else in the world is also good, right? Because there are families who are relying on the fact that you're going to make that purchase, right? Those families are basically suffering, right? So what is the solution?
The solution.
I probably don't have a very good solution, but I just wish that the entire world actually develops enough where hunger, especially hunger, shelter and clothing
Is not a problem.
Right? And I think that is over time. And I think, I'm not sure whether I told you, but there is a book by Hans Rosling, okay? Hans Rosling, and I'm forgetting the name of the book, and he is talking about as to how the world over time is actually getting better, right? So it's not like the world is not improving, but compared to a lot of the situation in the rest of the world is not as clean. Like, what about the fact that the workers in Pakistan? I think there is this one snippet in that story where they are talking about those workers in Pakistan who are sort of revolting against the business owner because the business had to lay off those employees.
So, yeah, they were revolting, like saying like that you shouldn't be laying us off because of all the work and everything and all the promises you made towards us. But it's not really the business owner's fault because their business cannot survive and he just cannot pay the employees.
Yeah, right. So it is a sad situation from all perspective where on one hand so government is sort of coming in and mandating, saying that you should not be laying off people, right? But imagine a factory owner in Bangladesh, right? I know how much capital would he have to sustain and how long? It's not like that factory is the like of Microsoft, right? Microsoft is and Google's and all those companies are sitting on a lot of cash, right? But and those businesses can actually survive because they can have their business run not as robustly as before, but still their business is run because you are in a software business. But when you are making stuff, right, you need people to show up. You need people to eventually buy your product, right?
Yeah.
And the world is actually just buying less, right? So it's a good and bad. On one hand, the environment is getting better, and you are probably saving a lot of money, right?
Yeah. But on the other hand, it affects it's like a chain reaction. On the other hand, it affects like developing countries.
Yeah, and also companies which are making the chemicals to make those products as well, right? So on one hand, you're saving the world from all these chemicals, but on the other hand, this stuff is not being produced, which is impacting those workers, right? Anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay.
So that's about it. Thanks for watching.